I'm now joined by Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen. His podcast is Mea Culpa, and he's a principal with Crisis X. Welcome back to The Beat.
Good to see you, Ari.
This was a big development. You have been through so much of this, I think people remember. What do you see next for Peter Navarro, for Mark Meadows, who was in the White House, while they're under pressure here, to give documents, evidence, testimony about whether Donald Trump was personally involved in pushing the insurrection or the coup?
Right. So rest assured that Donald Trump was involved in every single aspect of the coup, starting with who ended up where, who was sitting next to him, the conversations that were going. He's involved in everything. The only bad part is that his fingerprints are rarely, if ever, on anything, simply because he learned very well from the famous lawyer Roy Cohn not to have fingerprints on anything. He has no email. He doesn't text. So it needs to be people like Peter Navarro, like Mark Meadows, like a Dan Scavino, like a Steve Bannon, like a Rudy Giuliani, all going ahead and talking about what they witnessed, firsthand knowledge. That's the only way that they're going to end up holding Donald Trump accountable for this.
What do you think of the potential Trump defense, which we may hear about during these hearings as they start next week, that they tried everything, but when they got near a line, he backed off? He didn't, as he said, he didn't really go to the military. They tried Pence, he said no, and it sort of ended there. What about that defense?
Nonsense. It's just, it's not real. It's not legitimate. It's a lie, which is something that Donald is so good at doing. He just blatantly lies right to your face, and he'll say the same lie over and over and over again. For what purpose? Because ultimately the lie becomes the truth, and that's what he wants. Now, Peter Navarro's making a terrible mistake here. He will end up in prison. I mean, he's foolish, and yes, he's right. 1/4 of his life could now be spent in prison. And rest assured, Peter, if you're watching this show, and I hope he is, you don't want to go there. Even where I was at Otisville, it's terrible. It's terrible. You're removed from your family. You're removed from your friends. They destroy your name, your reputation. All for who? All for what? For Donald Trump? For democracy, to be democracy in peril? Seriously? What are you thinking? What legacy do you want to leave to your children, grandchildren, and God willing, great-grandchildren? Yeah. Not the legacy that you're leaving now, which he looks like a fool. Oh, my God. They went ahead, they picked me up at the airport. It's unconstitutional. First of all, Peter Navarro's not a lawyer. I don't think he understands what he's saying. I think he's a PhD in economics. He should stick with what he knows, because what he's saying right now really makes him look stupid.
So that's a lot of the law, and we've spent much of the hour on that. Politics suffuses this. You are cheered by people that 10 years ago weren't cheering you. Okay, there's a kind of a political energy around this. Bannon and Navarro have tried to endear themselves with what I alluded to earlier, that there's this right-wing support for this kind of stuff. I want to play a little more from what he said on MSNBC, and what he said, it's the same as what he says on War Room, because he seems to be trying to use publicity to make himself into something. Take a listen.
I have responded to the Justice Department, and there will be ongoing interactions on that to be determined. If I were to go to prison for a year, which is what the contempt of charge could do to me, that would be about 1/4 of my remaining life. This is why I'm fighting.
So let me respond. Let me respond to you.
And I'll take Biden and every single senior staff member in there.
And do what?
And do what? Them with subpoenas. And we'll start with the impeachment of Biden.
You do realize these investigators can hear you when you talk on TV, which is true. But Navarro and Bannon seem to be trying to use the legal process to also get attention, right? To go on air. It's maybe not helped them in the short term, but to cast themselves as the most extreme leaders on the right wing, endear themselves with this movement. Do you recognize that from anyone that you saw around Trump? And what do you think of that?
So it was everyone that was around Trump. And what I would say with Peter Navarro's appearance on your show, and I'm glad he was on, right? I don't know if it shows that he's got any seichel, any intelligence, right? Because as you know, if you're going to claim executive privilege, you can't discuss.
Sure.
And here, of course, they're trying to profit from their book, as Bannon is trying to profit from his War Room podcast and other affiliations. But this is exactly what everybody in Trump's circle was doing. For some reason, Trump gives you the feeling when you're in that inner circle, in that circle of trust, he gives you that feeling that you're invincible. You could do whatever you want. The laws don't apply to you. Why? Because they don't apply to him.
Let me ask you on that.
He is the Teflon Don.
Do you think Navarro was surprised to be greeted by those agents today?
Yes, he was. He thought he was heading off to town. I only even wonder whether or not he got his mileage back. I mean, that's so stupid to go there. Oh, my God, they put me in handcuffs and shackles. What did you want them to do? Put you in a Rolls-Royce limousine and bring you to court? What were they expecting? Maybe they should take an order what he wants to eat, right? Order in the court. That doesn't mean that you're supposed to say, hey, I want a tuna sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, it's silly.
I got 20 seconds. What's the most important thing you're watching at the hearings?
I think the hearings are not going to produce a single person's mindset. It's not going to change a single person's mindset. I'm interested, for the record, to see what they ultimately have. Remember, they had 1,000 people already giving testimony. I was not one of them, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to read through the lines to understand exactly what's going on, and you'll ultimately find that Donald Trump is at the center of it.
Michael Cohen, on a big news night, thank you for coming back on the beat, sir.
Always, Ari. Great to see you.